Hey everybody. Okay, today is going to be one in what I think is going to be a series of videos about what I'm calling my year in my life journal. Now, I definitely was inspired to do this by the ladies from Art to the Fifth, and they're the ones that started the Documented Life Project on Facebook. I will make sure to post links below in the description to their blog and their Facebook group. If you haven't joined their Facebook group, whoa, I have had my morning coffee. If you haven't joined their Facebook group yet, that is free. So I encourage you to sign up for it. Their weekly art prompts are fabulous and really inspiring. And they have a couple of classes that you can pay for on their blog that are very inexpensive and chock full of inspiration. Holy cow. So I decided right off at the first of the year that I wanted to just do the weekly art prompts. I wasn't interested in the planner part. I already have a planner set up that works for me, and I didn't want to really do art in it. As the year progressed, I decided definitely that what I was interested in is documenting my year, but in a less plannerly sort of way, especially after watching their planner pages videos, which really inspired me. I don't necessarily need to document every day of my year for the whole year, as much as documenting different things or groups of things that happen, saving little bits and pieces of the ephemera from those things that happen, and that I was really attracted to, so that's what I wanted to do. Now, I have a moleskin journal that I use. Let's see if I can grab it. This is an ongoing project for me for our family cookbook, and I really love moleskin journals in general, but the pages are really thin, and this one is almost done, and you can see how fat it is. It isn't nearly as fat as some of the Documented Life planners get, and frequently their spines split and they have to rebind them. Although I love the moleskin journals, the paper is thin, you do have a problem, it gets too fat. I thought, I really want to do lots of wet media in mine, and I don't know how much stuff I'm going to want to put in there. I was worried kind of about the spine splitting, so what do I have that I can use? So I had Delusions journals, and I had them already in two sizes. This is the small one, and this is the large one. They have elastic closures like the moleskin does, a different kind obviously, as you can see. This is my large one, and this is the one I started for the year, and you can see the outside kind of gets marked up and grunged up. I like that. I like the fact that the cover is paper and that it's easy if you want to paint over it at the end of the year or decorate on it or whatever. It's going to take, whatever kind of media that you want. It has an envelope on the inside, which I love. If you're going to take it with you somewhere, you can put your little bits and pieces of ephemera in here. I did recently decorate this inside cover page. In the little one, which I'll show you in a minute, I took this inside cover page after it was decorated and I glued it to this first page. This page is really hard to work with, and in this journal I can't do that because I already did something on here. I think I'll probably just leave this the way it is. This is one of the first prompts, and I have been dating all of my journal pages and all of my planners that I've been doing. But this is the large journal. It takes lots of wet media really well, as you can see. And this is a combination of paintings and documented life prompts. Journal 52 is another free art journaling prompt group on Facebook, and I do their prompts also. I also sometimes just experiment with painting things that I want to do, and it has nothing to do with anything. And all of that gets done in this journal. These were experiments. This is another experiment. So when my grandmother passed away, I did this page in this book, and that's what got me thinking about documenting my year in a way. More combination diary, smash booky, and a little bit of art journaling way. And I did this page in here, and I love this page. I don't know that it's completely appropriate for this book. Obviously, it's done now. It's going to stay here. But after I did this page, I thought, you know, I'd really like a whole book that kind of has this kind of thing going on in it, with maybe more room for journaling. And then after that, the planner pages classes came out from the Art to the Fifth ladies, and that only emphasized that feeling in me. So I decided at some point that after I watched the classes that I really, you know, I was going to listen to that little voice that was telling me to do that. How could I do that without going out and buying another journal? I have so many of them here. And I realized I had this journal in the smaller size, which is this one. So this is the Small Delusions journal. Now, I know obviously you can get them online. Amazon carries them, if nobody else, but a lot of people carry them. Where I live, Hobby Lobby has them. I think Joann's has them too. I saw them somewhere else. I know it wasn't Michael's, but it might have been Joann's. Nobody seems to ever have more than one or two of them. And they never seem to get more than one or two of them. I've talked to the staff at Hobby Lobby, and they only get a couple of them at a time, which is interesting. But I do buy them with a coupon, and DH, darling husband, he's taking me there tomorrow. Yay, because I can't drive, because, you know, the whole sling thing. So this is the one I started for 2014, and we're going to work in that today. The first thing we're going to do is do a little bit of something with the cover. I don't want to do a lot with the cover. I'm okay with all these painty and inky and, you know, scunged up marks. I like that. That just means it's been well lived and well loved. I do think we want to put a little bit of something on here, and it might be some napkin collage. I have a couple of napkins that were discovered in my grandmother's stuff that I might put on the cover. I also have some painted papers. And I have an idea for the front strip too. So, and I'll explain that in a minute. And we're also going to go through, and here's the cover page in this one. I did it the same way I did the other one, only when it was done and when it was dry, I glued this to the first page. So the first page that I showed you in the other one with the door on it, I didn't paint anything on. These are glued together. This is my first double page spread, and with a tag in the pocket. And then this one I finished the journaling on it yesterday. And I also did this one yesterday. Those of you who have watched any of my videos know I've been sick on and off a lot in the past year, and most of it's a workman's comp issue. And yeah, these are some of the bracelets from the hospital where I go to for my asthma. And yeah, anyway, I thought they deserved a journal page. And yes, always confused. I'm constantly confused. And here's one I did the background on last night. We're gonna go through this, and we're gonna decorate the cover. I'm gonna show you an idea I had this morning for decorating the front cover edge. And I'm gonna show you how to do a page from this point all the way to the point where it needs the journaling, okay? And every week or so, I'm gonna do one or two more pages. And I think I'm gonna do them for the whole year, and we'll do them together. And I don't know if this journal is going to be big enough for a whole year. I may actually need to get another one. We're just going to see. I'm going to use my coupons to when I can get somebody to take me to the store to stock up on them. So I have a few of these in my stash. Delusions journals are one of the few that I like to buy and not make. I love the cardstock. It takes most of your wet media really, really well. I love the way they lay open really flat. I love the elastic closure. It's a really nice little journal. So, that being said, let me get some stuff together and I'll be right back. Okay, this is what's left of a piece of painted paper that I actually did for my bookbinding course that's on Udemy. And you can go to udemy.com and find that, or you can look in the description below. There's a link if you're interested. I have 2 classes on there. Anyway, this is a piece of painted paper I had left that I made in that class, and I used this paper on the inside front cover. So I thought we'd use some of what is left of this on the outside cover also, and or some paint. So first, we're going to take some, this is just old book page, this is like a cover page. And I'm also going to tuck my ribbon so I don't get paint on the ribbon. This is just so that the interior pages don't get junked up too much. And if some paint happens to spill over on these are the start of some collage papers anyway, so that's all good. So first, I think before I do any collaging, I think I want to just put some paint on here. And I have a couple of stencils I've been using in the book, but let me see what else I have. I have a lot of stencils. I just can't get them all down right now. Let's see. But I got a lot of new ones in recently. Some of my old, well-worn favorites are right here. Let's see if there's anything that one might, I might like that one. These are two that I've used in here. These are some die cuts with the view stencils. I had trouble getting them, but I did finally find them. I might want to leave that one out because that one's one I might want to use in here. It's a homemade stencil. Another one. But I think the scale is too big. This journal is really little, and I don't want to use any like big giant flowers on it because the pages are so small, and when I start putting my decorations and stuff on there, it's just going to get lost. So I've been trying to stick with the small stencils. I like this flower one, so I think we're going to go with that, and then maybe we might put some ABCs on there. Color, color, color. Let's start with getting another piece of paper. I've been using paper for my palette recently because, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's hard for me to wash things right now with being one-handed. You'd be surprised. Plus, I can use this paper that had the paint on it that I've been using for a palette as collage paper later at some point. So, since I can't really wash palettes out easily anyway, I might as well take advantage of that fact and just use a piece of paper, and then I can have collage paper later. So I'm doing just the traditional stenciling thing. I'm pouncing with my brush, stenciling brush, and I don't have too much paint on the brush. I'm not looking for a perfect stencil. I don't want it too blotchy, but I do want it recognizable. Now, there is a piece of elastic here, so I'm going to try to avoid the elastic. Let's see. There we go. Helps if the stencil doesn't slide around. Like that. That's perfect. I like that. The other thing you can do, but you have to have like almost no paint on your brush, is you can do kind of a swirly thing. You don't get as good an impression, so let's get some more paint out and go over that a little bit. It's really hard for me to stencil because I can really only use one hand, so. Let's line that up. Okay. That's good. That's good. I like that. Okay. So then what I will do with this stencil and this the paint that's left on here, and I will keep going. More workman's comp related paperwork, yeah. I just figured I'd use it. Okay. Try to get the paint off right away because I really cannot get my hand in the sink. And I do wipe the stencil off, but I do it on top of one of these pieces of paper. So it does catch a lot of the paint. And later on, this can go in my life journal somewhere as collage paper. Okay. And then I have all these clips hanging above my desk. If you've seen any of my new studio videos, you know, there's a shelf where the camera's at, and there's all these S-hooks hanging from the shelf with clips on them, and I hang things to dry there. So, okay. So now I want to add another stencil in another color, and I think I want to do the ABC one. What color though? Do I want to do white? Do I want to do yellow? I think I want to do yellow. I have this yellow. It's called Banana Cream. It reminds me of this is Naples yellow, which is one of my favorite colors. So I might have to get some more of it when DH takes me to Hobby Lobby tomorrow because I'm running out. So same thing, I'm going to pounce. I'm not worried about getting all the letters. You notice I didn't clean my brush. It's going to come out kind of green, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to get yellow spots and green spots. Okay, so we're going to let that dry, and then when it's dry, we're going to come back with some collage. And while it's drying, I'm going to mark up this page with my stencil leftovers. See, I already have a nice start on another collage page. So I'm going to keep doing that, and I will be back. Okay, it's not quite dry, but I think it's dry enough. And so now we're going to take some of my scraps of painted papers, and we are going to do a little bit of collage on here. I do think I want to use this piece that has the washi tape on it and some of the scribbling. And as you can see, I have trouble throwing any of the little scraps away. Eventually they can become part of a collage somewhere at some point. I think I want this piece here. I like the torn edges. I go with my first instincts and put that there. I try to listen to those first instincts. It doesn't always work well, but I try. Okay. I also think I want to put a piece along here. Maybe not. Yeah, like that. Okay, let's get them glued down. Let me stop second guessing myself. You notice I left the papers in so that as I'm doing the gluing, I don't glue pages by accident together. I've done that before. A couple times. So I'm going to bring it down here as far as I can without actually gluing it to the elastic. And then I'm using Collage Page, which is when I don't care about wrinkles too much, it's my collage glue of choice. Even sometimes when I care about wrinkles, it is my collage glue of choice 99.9% of the time. So this is just an old gift card, and I'm just using it to really get the paper down there into the glue. Okay. Okay. Let's get this one over here. Now, because this one here is on the spine, I want to do a couple things to make sure it's not going to hurt the way the book closes. Number one is take the gift card and try to get it in all the cracks, but number two is to close the book. There we go. It did pull the paper a little bit because otherwise it would have been too tight. Okay. Let's get a little more glue down here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stand it up like this so that it dries properly. And I'm going to put this one piece over here. I should have done this first. So when you're doing yours, do these straight pieces first and then do the spine piece last. Don't worry about the stuff overhanging the edges, because just let everything dry and we can trim that after it's dry. And you have less chance of harming something. The one thing I will tell you that I always do when I'm gluing or painting, while things are still wet and before it dries and before I glue pages together and everything, or have paint where I don't want it, I do go back with a baby wipe and wipe things down and make sure I'm doing okay. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to stand this up like that. And we are going to let that dry. And when we come back, we are going to make a special embellishment for the front edge of the book using hardware store metal tape. and punches. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to film it and we're going to try it on camera live. Alright, I will be back. Okay, hi guys. Alright, so our cover is almost dry enough to work with. If you're in the Documented Life group, then, or you've seen somebody's planner who is in the Documented Life group, you know that some of them have this decorative metal edge on the front edge of their planner, right along here. Now, I understand it was a kind of a metal adhesive embellishment thing that was made by one of the scrapbooking companies. I forget now if it was Seven Gypsies or I don't remember. It's discontinued. I do understand Blue Moon Scrapbooking has a few of them, but rather than me ordering it, I don't really need it. And, you know, I would order the one, go to order the one thing and think, well, to justify the shipping, I should order more stuff. And yeah, anyway, I don't need more stuff. I have this metal tape from the hardware store. Now, the copper one I know is from the garden department. This one I think is from, I don't know, the department where they have like the heating ducts and stuff, because I think this is the kind of tape they use to seal the ductwork together in your attic. I do think it comes in different widths. I happen to be given a roll and I have this, so that's what we're going to use. So my idea was, knowing I had this metal tape in my stash, and I have a bunch of these punches, edge punches. Why can't I make my own decorative edge? This one I've never even opened, and as well as this one. Now I pick them up on clearance, with the exception I know of this one that I ordered because I wanted the birds and I couldn't find it anywhere. This one was on clearance, this one was on clearance, so I just have to figure out which one I want to use. I really like the dots. Or the flowers. Let's try, you know, we have 2 pieces of tape, so let's try one of each. I think the birds is going to be too fiddly, and there's going to be too much of a chance of me breaking off a bird, so I think we're going to not do that one. I may change my mind, but I think we're going to try these 2. Not only because I'm attracted to using both of these, but also because I haven't used them yet, so we might as well use them now, right? I do not know at all whether they're going to punch through this tape easily. I guess we'll find out, right? I hope they do, because I think this is a good idea. Now, if you don't have a punch that will work, or this doesn't work, I have a big rolls of this tape, so I can always get another piece out. You could, if you have decorative scrapbooking scissors, you could just cut one edge with the decorative scrapbooking scissors. That would be fun. So I'm going to do the copper with the dots, and we're going to just see what happens. Let's see if I can get it in here. That's going to be the trick. Oh, because it's not, it's like locked or something. There we go. It wasn't me, it was the punch. So this one, like the other ones, you know, it has these marks on the side so you can punch one part and then line it up. Right? Oops. And then just keep lining it up, going all the way down, and by the way, it's punching very nicely and easily. Let me move this journal out of my way. You know, I really like the dots. I think that's going to probably be the one I go with, but we'll see. Okay, so there's a piece of punch decorative metal edge tape, right? Now if you have some that don't pop all the way out, you could push them out with a pokey tool. And if you're so inclined, you probably could save all these little bits and pull the adhesive off the back and use them as embellishment. Honestly, yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen. First of all, I would need 2 good hands, and yeah, I don't have that. So let's try this other punch on the silver tape. This is a Martha Stewart punch. This one, I don't know if you saw, this was EK Success punch. It worked really good. Okay. Well, that punched easily enough. Let's see. Well, I think the only trick is figuring out where to line it up so that it punches correctly. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and do both because I want to have options. And whatever one I don't use on this journal, I'll just use somewhere else. But this is another way to make an interesting embellishment. So there we go. So in this punch, little pieces of the foil stuck in there. So before I put the punch away, I don't know if it's the foil or the backing paper, it might be both. I would make sure I got these out. Okay. One more little stubborn piece that doesn't want to come out. Take that back 2 pieces. Here's a big needle. Okay, got it all out. So just make sure when you're punching unusual materials like this that you clean the punches and any little bits that get stuck in there when you're done. And we'll clean up our mess as well as I can. Let's see. Okay. Now we will bring our journal back. And let's see which one we like along the edge. Silver or copper? You know, I think I like the copper. I think I liked it to begin with. Okay. I like the silver too, but I'm going to use it on something else at some point. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this upper edge off a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to mark how long to cut it. Okay. I'm going to trim these excess collage pieces off. If the excess pieces have interesting paintings on them still, then I save them to use later in some collage. Those don't. Okay. Now we are going to put this on in a way that we don't interfere with the opening of the envelope, because I may at some point during the year want to use the envelope to hold little bits of ephemera say when I go on vacation if I want to take the journal with me. So I am going to butt this up to the edge of the journal, of the envelope. And I'm going to stick it down. Okay, and then we're going to wrap it around. Oops. Okay, and we're going to use the gift card to burnish it down and stick it down really well. Do the same thing to the inside. Now you'll notice the corners of the journal are rounded, and this is not rounded now, so I'm going to take my scissors back out again, and I'm going to round these corners. Just follow the edge of the chipboard. Make sure it's stuck down really well. Yep. If you're worried about that coming off at some point, you could put a little bit of collage medium, you know, like Collage Podge or Mod Podge or something over it. I love the way that looks. I think that's fabulous. So there's an idea to get a nice decorative edge on your journal, so give that a try. When I come back, we are going to start working on a page. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm going to show you really quick how I start my pages, and I've started all of these pages the same way, and the first layer always looks like this. I will show you how I do this on this page, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then we're going to actually go back to this page and work on this page. So I picked two colors that I know will blend without making mud. So if you remember your color blending from elementary school, so then you know red and yellow make orange, blue and red make purple, blue and yellow make green, right? And you know, variations on a theme, you could do green and yellow, you could do pink and orange, but you want to mix colors, use colors that will mix well and not turn brown. If you mix colors opposite of each other on the color wheel, they're going to just turn some shade of neutral. If you mix all three primary colors together, you're going to get a dark brownish black color. So you don't want that necessarily in your page unless you're having a very stressful day, which, you know, we all have those. So for this page, I am going to choose Americana in Wasabi Green, which is a nice color. And then I have this folk art paint, which is, what color is it? Calypso Sky. And then I always mix in a white, but for the white I use gesso because I'm going to be writing and journaling on the page, and the gesso is a little bit easier to write on. I'm going to go back to sticking in my book pages. Okay, I'm going to start with one of them. The folk art paint tends to be thicker, so give it a little shake. I'm going to put a blob there, blob there. Put some green on each page. I have all these little bottles of paint lined up back here. Let's see, put that one there. And then put some gesso. And this is Liquitex gesso. It's a little bit runnier than other gessos, but it is the brand I prefer. And then the only other thing you're going to need is an old gift card. And I am going to just do this and start scraping the paint across the page. And you want to cover most of the page. You don't want to be too concerned about actually covering, you know, exactly all of the page. I'm okay with some white space. You're going to probably have some extra paint, right? So we're going to do what we've been doing, and we're going to take it and we're going to wipe it on a piece of scrap paper, a magazine page, or something, rather than wasting the paint. and we're going to use it to help create a collage page. Okay, so then I have that. And then before this dries, while it's still wet, I'm going to grab a baby wipe. And I'm going to go back to the previous page. And you would do this if this previous page was fully decorated. In this case, it's not, so it's not a super big deal. But if I'd already finished this page and I didn't want to screw it up too much, then I would want to wipe away any acrylic paint that seeped under before it dried. Try not to get my sling in the paint. I haven't done it yet, but it's going to happen at some point. And then also I do it on this page, even though it's not decorated yet, only because then I don't want big blobs on this other page. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and we'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our pink and blue page, and we're going to do some stenciling. And now that these other two colors are dry, if I want to go in with green or orange or a color that otherwise would probably make mud on this page, I don't have to worry about that because these other colors are dry. It's not going to mix with them. I just have to figure out what colors I want to use. Back to my banana cream again, maybe. So, honestly, this is how I do it. I don't think I want the orange. I might want to stick a neutral in there. Oops. I want to, I think, calm down a little bit of the brightness. I think it's a little too bright as a whole. And I think it needs another color. I know, crazy, right? It's another pink, but it's not neon. See, this is a neon pink, and then this is a turquoise blue. It's called Calypso blue. And then it has white gesso. I'm kind of liking that color. Maybe that. Alright, let me figure out what I'm doing and I'll... Okay, I decided to go with both colors and also some white, more white gesso. So I'm going to start with the pink and this chevron stencil. It's not about getting all of the stencil, it's just about adding some extra interest in a layer to the page. And you can pounce or you can do this and swirl. Do whatever you're more comfortable with. I just keep going really until I have it in at least 3 different places and or I've run out of paint. Okay. So I like that. Now because I'm going to pick up some green and the green and the pink will make brown, which I don't want, I'm going to kind of wipe off my brush. And I have this other stencil. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to do this in the green. This is one of those new die cuts with a view stencils. I got it at joann's.com. My Joann's store, at least the last time I was in before surgery, didn't have them, so I kept hearing they were getting them, and they never did get them, so I just ordered them. It was easier. Now I'm not worried on these stencils if they're, you know, perfect and, you know, a little bit smudgy, or I'm totally okay with that because it's not about perfection, it's about, like I said, color and interest to your page. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do white dots. Actually, I take that back. I have this other stencil I've been liking doing with white. And this is another die cuts with a view stencil, which I really like, so I'm going to do that one. Like I said before, you want to use small size stencils. This book is not very big, so if you use a stencil that's too big, it's just going to overpower your page. Okay, that's good. I'm going to take my leftover paint and the paint on the stencil, wipe it off here on my wipe off page. And we're going to let that dry and we'll be back. Okay, so before we go on to the next step, I want to tell you, so you can go ahead and do, if you wanted, you could do the whole book like this. And do each pair of pages with their painterly, stencil-y background. And then when the time comes for you to actually do a page about your life for that week, that day, that month, whatever, this year, you're ready for the next part. And I normally do a couple of pages at a time. We're going to just do one, but normally I do have a couple of pages going. So for the next step, and it's not quite dry, but it's dry enough. For the next step, you would go through and you would pull things out of your collection, things from your day or your week, restaurant menus, receipts, if you bought a new handbag, the tag off the handbag, or, photos. For me, I've pulled some of my book text doodles. I went into my hoard, and yes, I do say hoard. We all have one. We're all artists. We all have a hoard of rub-ons and also some stickers. These are the Tim Holtz Chit Chat stickers. I have a bunch of pictures from Social Print Studio, and I have one of their stickers they send. Stickers every time they send you photos. And then I have some different photos, including me and my cousin, who I'm very close to. Some bugs that were from a magazine page that I cut out. A tag off of a sweater. My grandmother wore sweaters like every day of her whole life. So anyway, whether 80 degrees out, the woman has a sweater on. Some text, I don't know what you call them. These are Smashbook little text things. I won't use all of this stuff, but I pulled out a selection of things I thought would work with the page. A napkin. This is a page out of a calendar. And then my grandmother, again, loved magazines. She never threw anything away, and especially National Geographic, and I found this in a National Geographic magazine of hers. So we are going to go through and we are going to do layers of collage, which is the next step. And I am going to get the paint out from underneath my fingernails because it's making me crazy. It's the biggest thing about being laid up. I can't wash my hands properly. It's driving me nuts. Okay, and I'm going to fast forward through the basic collage part and I'll be back. Okay, for thicker and heavier things, you can attach them to your page with heavy gel medium, or you can still use your collage medium, and then so that I know it's going to stay down while the collage, whatever collage glue I'm using is drying, in this case Collage Page, I put a little bit of tape runner on the back of the piece. So, and that's like way too much glue, but I know I'm going to need some over here too, so I'll just spread it out a little bit. So I would fill this up with collage glue, and then I put tape runner on the back of this piece, which I know I want to go about there. And then before I really squish it down, I'm going to stick the butterfly on here. Which I cut the antenna off of because I'll doodle them back in. And then I take my gift card. A heavy gel medium, if you have it, will work. You don't have to have that though. And you can use just regular Mod Podge or Collage Podge. With the magazine pages, sometimes the little piece will wrinkle a little bit. So just be careful. You kind of have to be okay with a little bit of wrinkles. And if you don't have tape runner, you know, just kind of do what I'm doing and play with it and give it, you know, a few 30 seconds or so, and it will stick down, start to really stick down. It won't be dry completely, but it will stick. Okay? And now I'm going to put this over here. And then I'm going to put this one, I had this printed, and this is actually a meme that was on my Pinterest page. It says, "Do all things with kindness." And my grandmother was all about that. That was definitely her thing, and it's kind of a family thing. So I'm going to put that on there because I think that's appropriate for the page. Try not to screw up my napkin too much. I should have probably put tape runner on the back of that picture, but I didn't. Okay. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to embellish it a little bit, and we're by no means done with the collage part. This is just the first layer, and we will come back to it after it's dry. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so before I do any more collaging or anything, and this is not quite dry, but hopefully dry enough. Each layer of collage I do this step before I add any more, whether I add rub-ons or stickers or more collage materials, I do this first. So I have a Stabilo aquarellable pencil, Stabilo All pencil. This is black, number 8046. You can get them at most of your fine art stores. I usually get mine from Amazon. In the long run, that's cheaper for me because if I go to the art supply store, I guarantee you I'm going to spend like $100 that I don't have. It's just a problem. So I take this pencil and I'm going to just loosely sketch around each one of my elements. That I placed on the page. I never usually have a plan for these pages when I start them. For instance, when I started it, I did not realize how purple it was going to end up coming out, and I do think it's going to end up coming out pretty purple. But that's okay, I like purple, I like color. So this isn't quite dry, so I'm being kind of gentle over here. And I may end up doing this again over here after it does dry. Okay. Then I have some water here and my rag and a small paintbrush, and you just want your paintbrush to be damp, and then go over the pencil and you see it's going to activate the water-soluble pencil, and it grunges up your page a little bit. Now, I like to spread this out, and I like to puddle it and really grunge up my page, and I kind of go crazy with the pencil. I like the way that looks, and I see no reason to stop now. This pencil does come, of course, in other colors besides black. I have actually blue, and I have a new brown one I haven't tried yet. I may actually try it on the next page that we painted the blue and green on. But suddenly when you do this, and I'm dabbing off some of the water on my rag, I don't want it super drippy, but you see when you do this, it really makes your page start to have a lot of character and really make it pop. Now, of course, you may not be the kind of person who likes the grungy look that this gives. I love it. So you don't have to do this part. You can just skip it if you want, or maybe do it in a different color. This pencil also comes in white, which I have and I can't find. I don't know where it's at, but I do have it in white. So instead of doing the black, you could just try a different color. So I like the way that looks, so I'm going to leave that and let it dry. And then when we come back, I'm going to add some more elements to it. I do have one more picture I know I want to put on this page somewhere. It may go about there. And I do have this little tiny green fly. I don't know why, but he needs to go on here somewhere. I have a few more book text elements that may go over here somewhere. And then I'll do more pencil around them after I do that. And in between putting more collage elements and this drying, when this dries, before I put anything else on there, I also have some rub-ons. So I have a feather rub-on, and this is by Jenny Tolan Studio. And I also found this Bow Bunny rub-on in my stash of stuff. So I do think I'm going to put some of these on here before I do any more collaging, and then I will do more collaging, and then I will do more pencil. I think that's how that's going to work. So, alright, we're going to let this dry and we'll be back. Okay, hi guys. So our next step to this page is going to be to do some rub-ons before we do, and then I'm going to do some more collage. And you'll notice right away the black rub-ons are not on the table. After I shut off the camera, I looked again and I realized the black rub-ons might detract too much from everything else that's on the page. I want the rub-ons to add an extra layer of texture and design without overwhelming the page. And the solid thick black rub-ons I think would be overwhelming, but I have these white ones that I think will work. These are kind of old. They might not even go down all the way very well, but I'm okay with that. So we are going to put these on before we do anything else. I have to figure out, I have only one corner, but I think I like it up here. So with the rub-ons, you know, you just use a popsicle stick, otherwise known as a craft stick. Popsicle stick to us old timers. Or your bone folder, which is what I'm using right now. And just rub. Sometimes they come with a popsicle stick, and this set probably did at one point. I don't know where it's at. And I have the bone folder, so we'll use that. Rub-ons frequently don't rub on cleanly or smoothly, and you just have to be okay with that, and I am. And I will probably be going over that with some Collage Page or gel medium or something at some point. And then this other one is from the same pack, and this is Mini Marks Wonderful Rub-On Transfers by American Crafts. I have had this set for probably forever because, you know, I'm an art supply hoarder. I admit it. Whoops. That's kind of what I meant, so they don't always come off cleanly. Here we go. Let's see. Those of you that don't know, I had rotator cuff surgery on my left arm a couple of weeks ago. I have very limited use of it, and it has to stay in the sling. And I can't lift anything with it, so that's like the most I can do with it. Okay, so I like that. Now I'm going to add a couple more collage elements. I have this other photo and this little piece of book text doodle that I want to add, I think, to like right about there. And these other little random bits, but I don't know if I want to add all of them. I have this green fly though. I think he has to go on the page. And I think that might be it. So let's get these on here, and I'm going to use some of the collage glue, which is Collage Podge, to help seal these in. I do also have some words, so before we stick anything out on here, let's see. So as part of this process, I'm going to figure out some of these words. I do think I'm going to use, I have white and this craft cardstock color. I think I'm going to use the white ones. So I'm going to figure out what words I'm going to use and collage these on, and I'll fast forward through that and I'll be Okay, so I never have a plan for these pages when I start. I just go with my gut and what feels right. And I knew I wanted to use this picture when I saw it in my stash of stuff. If I had one of my baby sister, she would be on here also. I don't have one, but she definitely will be in the journaling. And when I was looking through the text stickers, the Tim Holtz text stickers, because kept standing out to me, and I knew right away what I wanted it to say. So because you support me, so two of the most supportive women in my life, my sister and my cousin Teresa, not by any stretch the only ones, but two of the most supportive ones. This page is going to be about them and the other supportive people and women, particularly in my life. So I did not know that when I got started, but I know this year that subject has become very important to me, and that is something I want to journal about at least once in this book that is a journal about a year in my life. And I hope this gives you some ideas. I'm going to let this dry right now, and then we're going to go back again with a Stabilo pencil. So we'll let this dry and we'll be back. Okay, so now that this is mostly dry, we are going to go back around our new elements with the Stabilo pencil and back around again with some of the old elements, the first layer. Helps if I don't have hair stuck in the pencil. Only I could get hair stuck in a pencil. Anyway, so just go around them. You'll notice when I put this second layer of collage elements on, I did go over the rub-ons with some of the collage glue, the collage podge, just to make sure things are stuck down well. Okay, and then we need our little brush to activate our pencil. I already started pulling out things for the next page. Because like I said, I usually do 2 of these at once. Take a break after this though, my left arm hurts a little bit. So keep going around your elements, activating your pencil. Okay. You can drag some of the pencil around the page. Even put a little bit down here, maybe a little bit up here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I would do 2 or 3 of these, usually is what I do at a time, and let them dry thoroughly, and then go back with your favorite black pen. I used the Scarlet Line Permaball, or I have a Pilot multi-ball. Now these are sort of advertised as being, at least by the company that sells the multi-ball, as, you know, being the same kind of pen. They look like the same pen. But the Scarlet Lime has a thicker black line when you write with it than does the multi-ball. I love them both. They both seem to work equally well. One is just a little thinner than the other, so depending on what you're doing with it, you might prefer one over the other. So I would use one of these, maybe even both of them. I've done that in the past. And I would, you know, not just settle for writing this way. As you can see with this page, I wrote this way and that way. And, you know, down here and sideways, and whatever way I felt was interesting to me and that was highlighting something I wanted to say. And I also, you know, sometimes I'll do little doodles, and that just adds to your page when you do that. But before you do any of that, let this all dry completely or you will ruin your pens. So I hope you have fun with that, and I hope it gives you some ideas. If you would like to not make your own doodle embellishments, these type of things, or these type of things, on the next page, I'll give you a sneak peek. I think I'm going to use this little bit of a magazine page, and I'm going to put this doodle embellishment, I think, right here. This is a snap card I found in my grandmother's sewing box, and I have also this butterfly. So these are some elements of some things that I think I want to include on this page. If you don't want to make your own doodly embellishments, you don't have to. I have for sale in my Etsy shop 7 pages of the color doodle embellishments, 1 page of bugs, and the rest are borders and flowers, and 1 page of the book text doodle embellishments. They're for sale in my Etsy shop. It's a digital download. It is $5, and you own the file. Once you get the file and you download the file, it's yours, you own it, and you can reprint them, you know, a million times if that's what you want. So think about doing that, and I definitely have it available, and I hope it gives you some great ideas. I just saw something I forgot. And don't forget to go out and do something nice for yourself, because you deserve it. Have fun with it, and when I have some more pages or something in here I'm doing differently, I'll post a new video and give you guys an update. I hope you all decide to join me on this little adventure, and I'll see you later. Bye.